In previous session, we discussed about the union executive power, union executive. So, who are there in union executive? President, vice president, prime minister, and union council of ministers. Like that, here our country is a democratic and a federal country. We have two different governments. At the center, union government, and at the state, state government. So in the center, we have union executives, whereas in state we have state executives. So article 127 to 237 of Indian Constitution deal with the provisions related to the composition, organization, and powers and functions of the state government. Article 152 to 237 of Indian Constitution which deals with the powers and functions of state government. So here in the state government, here we have state executives, we have state executive. In the state executive, here the governor, chief minister, and state council of ministers. Who are here in state executives are the governor, chief minister, and state council of ministers. Now we are going to see about the governor. Who is that? Governor. He is a nominal executive head of the state. He is the nominal executive head of the state, and he is agent of central government. He is the agent of central government, and usually there is a separate governor for every state, but in some cases they may have same governors for two or more states. Example, in the previous E.L. Narasimhan is was governor of Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, but now we have two separate governors. For Telangana, Tamilisai Sundararajan, and for Andhra Pradesh, Biswabhushan Harichandran. Understand? So like this, we have in some provisions we may have same governor for two states, and otherwise they may have separate governors for separate states. Okay, so this now we are going to see about the qualifications on appointment, pay and allowances, oath of office, tenure, and removal of governor. Now we are going to see about the qualifications of governor. Article 157 of our Constitution laid down the following qualifications. What are the qualifications? See, he shall be citizen of India. He shall be citizen of India, and he should have completed the age of 35 years. He should have completed the age of 35 years, and he should not be a member of either house of state legislative assembly. See, in central we have Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha. Like that, in state we have state legislative assembly and state legislative council. So he should not be a member of state legislative assembly or state legislative council or parliament. He should not be a member of state legislative council, state legislative assembly, or of parliament. Okay, and he should not hold any office of profit. He should not hold any office of profit. And these are the qualifications of governor. See once again, what are the qualifications of governor? He shall be a citizen of India. He should have completed the age of 35 years. He should not a member of either the house of state legislatures, means in state legislative assembly or state legislative council, or he should not a member of the parliament, and he should not hold any other office of profit. Those are the qualifications of governor. Next, appointment. Governor is appointed by the president. Okay, who appoints the governor? Governor is appointed by the president. There is no separate elections for governor as it is there for president. So he is directly appointed by president. Next, pay and allowances. Next, pay and allowances. So at present the governor is entitled to receive a monthly salary of 1,10,000. He resides in an official rent-free building called Raj Bhavan. There president resides in Rashtrapati Bhavan. Here governor resides in Raj Bhavan. He gets so many other allowances, traveling allowances, medical allowances, everything. So his pay and allowances are charged on the consolidated fund of the state. His pay and allowances are charged from the consolidated fund of the state. Okay. Next, oath of office. The Chief Justice of State High Court. Chief Justice of State High Court administered the oath of office to the governor. Who? The Chief Justice of State High Court administered the oath of office for governor. So, tenure. He holds office as a no term for actually 5 years at the date on which he assumes the office. But he may be removed by the president at any time because he was appointed by the president. So only the president can remove him. So the Chief Justice of High Court serves as acting governor. Acting governor till the new governor was appointed to that post. There in central government, if the president was removed from his office, the vice president acts as a president. But here, if the governor was removed from his post, understand, the Chief Justice of High Court acts as a governor till the new governor is going to appoint. So, removal. Understand, there is no any special procedure for removing of a governor like impeachment of the president. Okay, no any other methods is there to removal of the governor, since he holds office during the pleasure of the president. When he loses the pleasure of the president, he may be removed according to the constitutional practices. Okay, so like that, there is, once again see, there is no any method for removing of a governor. Okay, so like removing of president, impeachment procedure is there, but here it is not there. As long as he enjoys the pleasure of the president, he continues in his office. When he loses the confidence, then he has to move from the post. Okay, so now these are the qualifications, appointments, pay and allowances, oath of office, tenure and removal. Executive powers, and in that first one is executive powers, legislative powers, judicial powers, financial powers and discretionary powers. So how many powers and functions are there? For governor there are 5 powers and functions. Once again, executive powers and functions, legislative powers and functions, judicial powers and functions, financial powers and functions and discretionary powers and functions. So here executive powers and functions, I told you executives means appointing the ministers. So he appoints a chief minister. Governor appoints the Chief Minister, and by the advice of Chief Minister, he appoints State Council of Ministers. By the advice of Chief Minister, he appoints State Council of Ministers, and he removes the ministers and on the advice of CM, and he appoints the Vice Chancellors of University. He appoints the Vice Chancellors of University, and sometimes he acts as a Vice Chancellor of University. He acts as a Vice Chancellor of University, and he appoints he appoints a Chief Secretary and Advocate General. He appoints Chief Secretary, Advocate Generals. Okay, these are the executive powers of governor. Once again, you see, he appoints Chief Minister on the advice of Chief Minister. He appoints State Council of Ministers, and he appoints Vice Chancellors, and sometimes he acts as a Vice Chancellor of University, and he appoints Chief Secretary and Advocate General. These are the executive powers of governor. Next, legislative powers. So he inaugurates I told you, he is first, how the president is the first citizen of the country, like that governor is first citizen of the state. He is the first citizen of the state. So he inaugurates the first session of state legislature, and after the general election, after completion of the general election, he conducts the first session of meeting of state legislature assembly, and he addresses the members of the state legislature, and sends messages which are related to the state legislature. Okay. He addresses the first session of a state legislature assembly, and every year when the budget session is going to start, he addresses the budget session also, and he appoints pro tem speakers of state legislative assembly. What is that? He appoints the pro tem speakers of state legislative assembly. And the next one was judicial powers and functions. What is the third one? Judicial powers and functions. He renders advices to the President of India in appointment of Chief Justice and other judges of the High Court. He gives advices. Actually, who will appoint the Chief Justice of High Court's President? So he gives advices to President for the appointment of Chief Justice and other judges of High Courts, and he appoints the Advocate General of the state. He appoints the Advocate General of state, and he makes appointments, postings and promotions of the district court judges. Okay, what he will do? He appoints the posting, promotion of district judges of candidates, and he appoints the Chief Justice of High Court. He appoints the Chief Justice of High Court. These are the judicial powers of governor. Okay. Next, what are the financial powers? What is the next one? Financial powers and functions. The governor sees that the annual financial statement, that is budget, is put before the state legislative. He puts it there. The money bill was introduced by the President in Lok Sabha. Like that here, the budget, annual financial statement means budget is laid before the state legislative assembly by governor, and no money bill was introduced without his consent. Without his consent, no money bill is going to introduce in the state legislative assembly, and he maintains contagious funds of the state, and he can make advices and unseen expenditures. Okay, so everything he maintains, the expenditures, everything he will look after. And the next one is last and next power is discretionary powers and functions. What is the next one? Discretionary powers and functions. So he plays a deceive role. He plays a deceive role appointing a chief minister. Understand? He plays a main role for appointing the chief minister. Okay. So in discretionary functions, he dismisses administratively, it refuses to resign after losing majority approval in his house. These are the discretionary functions of governor. Once again, what are the functions, powers and functions of governor? Executive powers, in that he appoints chief minister, state council of ministers, vice chancellor, chief secretary, advocate general of the state. Legislative powers, he appoints the ministers, he gives portfolios, he reshuffles the portfolios. Okay, and next one is judicial powers. He appoints the chief justice, he appoints the high court governors, and he gives advices to president by appointing the chief justices. And financial powers, money bill was introduced by governor in a state legislative assembly. Next, discretionary functions. These are the main functions, powers and functions of governor. Now we are going to see the differences between the governor and the president. See, governor is a nominal head of the state, and president is nominal head of union government. That already we studied it. Now you see, the governor is a nominated person. Who is that? Governor is a nominated person. He is appointed by the president. He is appointed by the president. Here, the president is an elected person. Indirect elections, already we studied it. Indirect elections. What is the president is elected by indirect elections by electoral college. So governor is a nominated person and president is an elected person. See, second one, he has no security of tenure. Who has no security? Governor has no security of tenure. His tenure depends upon the pleasure of the president as long as he has confidence. Understand? Of the president, he will continue in his post. If he loses the confidence of the president, he has to lose the post. So he has no security of tenure. His tenure depends upon the pleasure of the president. President can remove him at any time. Here, what is the president? The president has a fixed tenure of office. How many years he will be in that post? For 5 years. And for 5 years in general, actually, he will continue in his post for 5 years. Once again, see here, governor has no security of tenure. At any time, the president can remove him from his post. But the president has a fixed tenure of office for 5 years. Okay. See the third difference. The governor can be removed easily by the president on the advice of Union Council of Ministers headed by Prime Minister. I told you just before, the governor can be removed at any time by the president on the advice of Prime Minister and Union Council of Ministers. If president takes the advice of Prime Minister and Union Council of Ministers, the governor can lose his post. whereas he can be removed only by the difficult process of impeachment by the Parliament. Here it is very difficult to remove President from his post. To remove him from his post, we have a special procedure named as impeachment. Understand? Already in previous section we studied about that 14 days prior notice we have to give him, and it must be approved 2/3 and 1/4 must be approved in the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Then he can remove from his post. That is known as impeachment. So here he has a special procedure named it as a impeachment for remove of a president. But here it is not like that. We can easily remove the governor. Understand? President can easily remove the governor or by the advice of Prime Minister and Union Council of Ministers. Next, the governor has discretionary functions. He has some important functions, but the president has no discretionary functions. The president has no discretionary functions. The governor does not have military and diplomatic powers. Understand? Here this belongs to only the state. So he does not have any military or diplomatic powers, whereas president has military and diplomatic power because he is the head of armed forces, defense, so that he has military and diplomatic powers, whereas the governor does not have military and diplomatic powers. Okay, once again you see this file. The governor is a nominated person, the president is an elected person. So he has no security of tenure. Here the president has a fixed tenure of office for 5 years. The governor can be removed easily by the president on the advice of Union Council of Ministers headed by the Prime Minister. He can be removed only by the difficult process of impeachment by the Parliament. The governor has discretionary functions. The president has no discretionary functions. The governor does not have military and diplomatic powers, but the president has military and diplomatic power. Sixth difference is pardoning power of the governor is limited. Pardoning power of the governor is very limited, whereas pardoning power of the president is absolute. See here, he can pardon the person who is sentenced to death. But here, pardoning power of governor is limit. Here it is absolute. So the next difference, he cannot pardon death sentences and any sentence inflicted by martial court. But here he can pardon even the death sentence of martial court. Just before I told you, no, he can give pardon for death sentence also. The governor does not have emergency powers. He can only suggest for the imposition of president rule. Here he does not have any emergency powers. Governor does not have any emergency powers. Only he can impose the president rule. But here the president have emergency powers. Okay, the president promulgates orders for declaration of all the 3 types of emergencies. He has all the 3 types of emergency powers. President has all the 3 types of emergencies. What are the 3 types of emergencies? National emergency, financial emergency, constitutional emergency. Yes, he has all the 3 emergency powers, whereas our governor does not have any emergency powers. Only he can impose the president's rule in the state. And the next difference, the governor has no power to remove the chairman and members of the State Public Service Commission, though he appoints them. Only he can appoint them, but he cannot remove them from their post. See, the governor has no power to remove the chairman and members of State Public Service Commission. Only he can appoint them, but he cannot remove them from their post. But whereas here here the president can remove the chairman and the members of the Union Public Service Commission on the grounds stipulated by the Constitution. According to the Constitution, the president can remove the chairman and other members of Union Service Commission. Okay, but here he does not remove any person. There he can remove the persons. Okay, once again, pardoning power of the governor is limit. Here for president, pardoning power of the president is absolute. Here he cannot pardon death sentence and any sentence implemented by the martial court, but he can pardon even death sentence of martial courts. Here the governor does not have emergency powers. He can only suggest for the imposition of president's rule. Here the president can promulgate orders for the declaration of all the three types of emergencies. Next, the governor has no power to remove the chairman and members of the State Public Service Commission, though he appoints them. The president can remove the chairman and the members of the Union Public Service Commission on the grounds stipulated by the Constitution. Okay. The next one is in state executive, the main person is the chief minister. Who is the chief minister? It is in article 163 and 164 gave detailedly about the appointment, qualifications, tenure, everything in constitution. Article 163 and 164. The chief minister is the real executive and he is the head of the government. He is the real executive and real head of the government. He plays a key role and key position in the state government. He plays a key role and key position in the state government. Article 163 and 164 of our constitution deal with the office of the chief minister, and 163(1) says that there shall be a council of ministers headed by the chief minister. Like in a union executive, he is a council of union council of ministers headed by the prime minister. Like that here state council of ministers headed by the chief minister must be a state executive. So now we are going to see the qualifications of chief minister. Constitution does not prescribe any specific qualification for chief minister. What is it? Constitution does not prescribe any specific qualification for the chief minister. Okay, then he must be a member of state legislative assembly. He must be a member of state legislative assembly. So that is these qualifications. Next, appointment. The chief minister is appointed by the governor under Article 164. The chief minister is appointed by the governor under Article 164. After general elections, the governor invites the majority party leader in the legislative assembly to form the government. Okay. After general elections, normally governor invites the majority party leader to form the government, and he appoints him as chief minister. So next, tenure. There is no fixed tenure for the chief minister. As long as he can continue in office, as long as he enjoys the confidence of the governor or the pleasure of the governor. Okay, and normally he continues in his post for 5 years. Normally the chief minister holds office for a period of 5 years. Once again, qualifications. There is no specific qualifications for Chief Minister. He must be a member of State Legislative Assembly. Appointment after general elections of State Legislative Assembly, the majority party leader invited by governor to form the government, and tenure. There is actually he must be in his post for 5 years. As long as he enjoys the pleasure and confidence of the governor, he continues in his post. So qualification, appointment, tenure. Now we are going to see the powers and functions of Chief Minister. Now we are going to see the powers and functions of Chief Minister. See, first one, formation of ministry. 2, leader of the Legislative Assembly, leader of the State Council of Ministers, leader of the party in power, link between the governor and the State Council of Ministers, chief spokesman, chief advisor to the governor, and cordial relations with the union government related to the constitution. See once again, what are the powers and functions of Chief Minister? Formation of ministry, leader of the Legislative Assembly, leader of the State Council of Ministers, leader of the party in power, link between the governor and the State Council of Ministers, chief spokesman and chief advisor to the governor. And next one, cordial relation with the union government and related to the constitution. Now we are going to see one after one detailing. First one, formation of the ministry. So the first and foremost responsibility is formation of ministry of his choice. He has free hand in selection and appointment of ministers. He can select his own ministers and he can allot the portfolios, and he can reshuffle the portfolios also. Once again, formation of the ministry. The first and foremost responsibility is formation of ministry of his choice. He can choose his own. He has a free hand for the selection and appointment of the ministers. He can select the departments and he can reshuffle the departments also. Okay, that is formation of ministry. Second one, leader of the Legislative Assembly. He enjoys the confidence and support of the majority legislators, and he acts as the leader of assembly. He acts as the leader of assembly. Okay, he has full majority and he acts as the leader of assembly. So next one, leader of the State Council of Ministers. Leader of the State Council of Ministers. He is the chairman of the State Council of Ministers. The Chief Minister decides the time, venue and agenda of cabinet meetings. When he has to conduct the cabinet meeting, where he has to conduct the cabinet meeting, what they have to discuss in the cabinet meeting, everything will be decided by him. Okay. So once again, leader of State Council of Ministers. He is the chairman of State Council of Ministers. The Chief Minister decides the time, venue and agenda of cabinet meeting. Next, leader of the party in power. Leader of the party in power. He participates in the meetings organized by his party, and he informs the party members what to discuss, what are the policies they have to discuss, and what are the promises of his party, what they have to do. Everything they will discuss. Okay, once again, leader of the party. He is the leader. He is the leader. He participates in the meetings organized by his party, and he informs what they have to discuss about the policies, programs initiated by the government and to fulfill the policies of his party. Next, link between the governor and the State Council of Ministers. So, the decisions which are taken by the State Council of Ministers will inform to the governor, and the advisors of the governor, he informs to the State Council of Ministers. There he acts as a bridge between the State Council of Ministers and the governor. Okay, once again, he link between the governor and the State Council of Ministers. He acts as a bridge between the decisions which are taken by the State Council of Ministers. He carries to governor, and the decision which is taken by the governor, he carries to State Council of Ministers. So here he acts as a link, bridge between the State Council of Ministers and the governor. Next, chief spokesman. What is the next one? Chief spokesperson. So he announces the major policies and programs of the state government. What is the state government is going to do? What are the new things they are going to introduce? Everything he discusses with the Union Council of Ministers, and he announces them. Once again, chief spokesperson. Okay, he announces the major policies and programs of the government, what they are going to do, everything they informs. The next one is chief advisor to the governor. What's the next one? Chief advisor to the governor. He gives advices to the governor in the matter of appointment of the ministers. Understand? And allotment of the portfolios and reshuffling of the portfolios. Okay, once again, he acts as a chief advisor to the governor by appointing and shuffling and selecting the ministers of their portfolios. Next one, coordinate relations with the union government. The chief minister being the real head of the state administration, he has main responsibility to maintain harmonious relations with the union government. Okay, he has the main responsibility to maintain harmonious relations with the union government. Next one is related to the constitution. The Indian constitution confers all the powers of real executive on the chief minister. So he tries to be in his position to the constitution. Okay, once again, related to the constitution, he has the most powers and he is a real executive, so that always he tries to keep his position in the constitution. These are the powers and functions of chief minister. Once again, formation of the ministry, leader of the legislative assembly, leader of the state council of ministers, leader of the party in power, link between the governor and the union council of ministers, chief spokesman, chief advisor to the governor, and coordinate relations with the union government and related to the constitution. So these all are his powers and functions of chief minister, and he works very hard for the development of a state. Okay, this is about the state executive. Once again, see who are the main persons in the state executive? Governor, okay, governor, president, so governor, chief minister, and state council of ministers. Okay, here in state executive, the real executive is chief minister. The real executive is who? Prime minister. Okay, see once again here you can see union executive, state executive. Here president is nominal head. Here governor is nominal head. Here prime minister is real executive head. Here chief minister is real executive head. Here union council of ministers. Here state council of ministers. Here union council of ministers and prime minister helps to president. Here chief minister and state council of ministers helps to governor for smoothness of the ruling. Okay. See, our AP chief minister is Y.S. Jagan Mohan Reddy.